Good afternoon. Today is Sunday, February 23rd, 2025, and this is the weekly Bitcoin price forecast. So, looking at where Bitcoin went in the past week and where it could potentially go in the future. So this last week was not great for crypto at all, just period. Across the board, there were several things that ended up tanking the price for sure, but I think I'm still optimistic as always. Reason being is I've seen this behavior before, and like these large scale news events that end up happening, and it ends up happening right before the takeoff period. Like there's a lot of people who are buying crypto and a lot of people who are buying into crypto with deep pockets too. They have a lot of money involved in it. So it's going to go up eventually. They're not buying this for no reason. Like you can actually in real time see the money flows to where you see hundreds of millions of dollars being moved and billions of dollars being moved into the space. This and the third, because so just because price is not going up or down drastically does not mean that there's not activity in the background that would support price continuing to go up. And there's a reason. Like it's gone up if you look at it consistently month after month. It doesn't. It goes down for a little bit, but not too much. But if you look at it, the overall trajectory is up. Even if it goes sideways, that's fine. That means it's relatively maintaining its price. It's not necessarily going down. It's just going sideways. This ranging motion that you see. So if you kind of look at it, these periods of sideways motion have gotten shorter and shorter as time has gone by. Like you see, like this whole period here, this was all sideways, and then this was about 8 months. So this is about a year or so. What was this? June of 2022, all the way to October of 2023. So that was a year and a half sideways. And then this was about 8 months. So this was March 1st, 2024, all the way until we'll call it October. So it's about 7 months. So a year and a half, 7 months. This is 3 months. Okay, so that seems like it is. We should be at the point now where if you let's do that math. So that is, let's say a year and a half. So that was at 18. 18 months divided by 8 months. So it goes two times as fast. So the last one went 8 months. So 8 months divided by 2.25 is what we got. So it should be about 3.5 months, allegedly. So this is sideways, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So 3.5, that means we should be going up pretty soon. Theoretically, if I'm just following that pattern, that should be about 3 months. So we'll see. This is probably the longest I've talked on the monthly chart normally because, again, the monthly chart really is kind of your zoom out function. Like you can get perspective on the monthly chart of where we are in the cycle. But yeah, no, something definitely good to look at. So weekly chart, again, I kind of explained a lot about it on the reality is we're just going sideways right now. There's not too much to talk about as opposed to just like, hey, it's wait until we start going up again. This is your time to accumulate. This is actually a good thing. Like it's a good thing because it gives you time. Like as you continue to go up again, this period of stalling will be shorter and shorter. So it'll take breaks again. There will be downtrend moments and there will be sideways moments, but they will be shorter and shorter. Again, 8 months, 3.5 months, a year and a half. It gets shorter and shorter and shorter. So, this is your indicators and whatnot. You have your moving averages again, ever growing up since 2023. They have not stopped moving up yet. They've moved sideways, and even when they were moving sideways, they were still moving up. So, let's put the drawings on real quick. Okay, that looks a little chaotic, but here we are. As you can see, I'm going to talk about all these. So you had an uptrend channel here. And then we see that the steepness changed. So it got more and more steep around here. And it's still kind of in that channel at this point. This second one, the second green upward channel. You saw for a period that it went down significantly. And then, not significantly really, but I mean, there was a bull flag essentially. So it went down only to go up again. And then eventually, now we're kind of where we're at now, to where it's just going ranging. It's going side to side pretty much. So what I'm looking at is the steepness change. So this was, it was an upward movement. This is a more steep upward movement. This is a more steep upward movement. So I'm expecting that this should shoot up pretty soon. It should shoot up pretty soon, all the way up to about 150 and whatnot. And like that will not be surprising to me at all. I put the drawings on here, just kind of looking at some things too. And I'm going to get the indicators for this to kind of show it in real time and not have it be just a line here. So you have what's called in Bitcoin a realized price. So that's the price that the average Bitcoin wallet has taken profit or anything, or has moved their Bitcoin, meaning bought or sold. And realized price is a very important number in Bitcoin. So currently, the actual realized price is $43,393. Okay, but you can break that down even farther and say, like, okay, there are short term and long term holders, pretty much. So you look at two types of behavior. So the short term holders are people who, within the last 155 days, have moved their Bitcoin at all. So that's a short term holder. That price is at 92,000 right now, roughly. I think it's 92 or 95, something like that. What are the coordinates here? So yeah, 92K. Short-term realized price. And you see that price has not been able to get below it. For whatever reason, it cannot break the short-term holder realized price. So that's a good thing to look at. The long-term holder realized price is people who have not moved it. I think it's in like 600 some days. Let me see. Long-term holder BTC. Long-term holder supply. I can't remember how many days it was. So these are people who have not moved their Bitcoin in the last supply. Realized. Long-term holder realized price. I may not even get to talk about everything today. I'm already at 6 minutes. So that is for people who have not moved. Okay, I guess it is 155 days. Yeah, so over 155 days, then it's long term. They split it into those. So you can see that those are wildly different numbers. This in like 155 days, like the short term holders they're moving prices at roughly about 92K. Long term, they're at 24K. So these are people who are really holding on to Bitcoin. So what I want to say is people are actually holding on to this. So this is pretty much like their average kind of buy price, pretty much is 24,000. If they're a long-term holder, which is 155 days, roughly half a year. So that's pretty cool. Like to see that is so different, that is vastly different, and these areas hold for such a long time. So that just gives me more optimism that this is going to continue to go up. Worst case, again, it goes sideways. That is frustrating, but you just want to make sure that it's not going down. So again, this is your short-term holder realized price right here. We'll zoom in a little bit more. There's not really much to talk about except to say that it's either going to go sideways or up. I don't believe that it goes below again. So let's look at the chart this way. So again, your range is roughly between here. It's just bouncing and playing ping pong. This is absurdly tight. This is an absurdly tight range at this point. The fact that it's moving this little tells me that I'm expecting some type of explosive growth in the near future. Just because, again, worst case scenario, you come back down to here, like 88,000, and that would scare the hell out of everyone. But I know that if you dump like that, you're probably just going to end up pumping again. This just gives people one last opportunity to get in if you're a big boy. So all the smart money may be waiting for something down here, or they could just be holding right here, and it ends up shooting up. So these long periods are just ways to shake people out and give like the large institutions more time to get in. But I absolutely still do believe that that Bitcoin will be upwards of 300,000 before the end of the year, and really in a lot quicker time frame than what most people think. But again, we'll have to see for that to end up going. So, what am I? I'm at 8 minutes. Let's look at the news real quick. There's not really too much else to talk about in the chart. It's sideways until it's not. Consumer confidence is something that we look at. No, actually, it's really not. Actually, nothing important is important here until March. So the rest of February, there's no important news, and there won't be until I would say March 7th. Yeah, so the end of the week of the first month, so of March, I should say. So March 7th, you'll get your non-farm employment change, non-farm payroll, and even still, that doesn't have much of an effect on Bitcoin, honestly. Really, I mean, maybe if you're talking about gold or some of the currency indexes and whatnot, like that might have some type of effect, but I wouldn't say so on Bitcoin. Let's talk about two different things real quick. We'll talk about it's basically two major pieces of news that came out and kind of tanked the price this week. It was a crypto scandal coming out of Argentina where the president essentially endorsed some token that was supposed to help the Argentinian people. and it tanked. It didn't really go anywhere, and the price just absolutely got decimated, like 99% drop. So it's being called a scam. Obviously, people lost money. There are people helping people to recover it, but there are absolutely scams in crypto. There's no way getting around it. Just like there are scams on the internet, there are scams in crypto too. So that's why you have to be absolutely careful with what you're putting your money in. But when you have stuff like this happen, people get spooked. Like the whole market gets spooked. But the thing is, there are people who are still buying it in the background, and they do things. I think they actually do things like this from time to time to scare the market, because again, the overall trajectory is up. Like all signs point to it being up. But again, in order for big players to get in, they have to shake out essentially a lot of little players and stuff like that. So this is, I think, one of those events. Crypto will recover. I have no doubt about that. And it really didn't even go anywhere. If we're talking about it honestly, let's take a look here. All this happened this week. That was Friday. It looked like it happened. This is that big candle. Big is, I use big in air quotes, right? Because that is a 2% drop. You see price didn't go anywhere with all this, kind of bad news happening. So the other thing that happened was the Bybit hack. So like $1.4 billion worth of Ethereum was stolen from this account. What they don't tell you is that was only like, they said 1/25 of their total holding. So Bybit is huge. Obviously, you never want to see a hack or anything, but like when people hear $1 billion, they get very scared because oh my God, there's so much money. But for crypto and the amount of money that's being moved, that's not entirely too huge. Realistically, is what I'm saying. So they've already isolated who stole the money. It was like some type of North Korean firm or whatnot. That ended up doing a social engineering hack to get the, I guess, seed phrases or something from these people, and they got access to Bybit's cold wallet. So it's this is also in my mind one of those little fishy stories because it was almost like too good to be true, and a very advanced social engineering hack. So who knows? Again, I think this is really one last shakeout, and then as I've said for the 75th time. So. Yeah. This is like, and the reason I say all this, I've said this a couple times in the last 15 or so minutes, but what I'm looking at right now is this is the year 2024. This chart that I'm looking at, we're currently in 25, so we can look at 2024 in the hindsight and see what actually happened. So in 2024, we look at these different brackets. So individuals, which, people like, most people listen to this, you're just a guy or some I guess some girl pretty much, right? You're a person. You're a regular investor. You are a regular, you maybe have a 401k, you have a job, 9 to 5, something like that. This is individuals. So individuals sold collectively 525,000 Bitcoin in 2024. Others refers to, let me see, it says includes change in Bitcoin to be mined, Bitcoin held in smart contracts, and estimated Bitcoin cost. So in 2024, we had the Bitcoin halving. So in the Bitcoin halving, you produce less Bitcoin moving forward forever. Like it does not change. It never goes back up. So at that point, you end up producing less, which, okay, so now there's 300,000 less that we would have produced had the halving not happened. But the halving will continue to happen every 210,000 blocks on the blockchain. Government sold quite a bit, even with people like Argentina and El Salvador and all these other people buying. Governments haven't really truly bought in yet. I think that's going to change very quickly. This 2025 chart, if they do one and update it later on, and we can see all this information too, but if they do that later on, it's going to flip. Businesses, so people like MicroStrategy and all these other corporations who are buying Bitcoin. I want to say this is probably all MicroStrategy. Like to be honest with you, like it's like I think they got about 200,000 Bitcoin. I don't know exactly how much it was in the last year, but they bought quite a bit. Billions of dollars worth for sure, but they're buying more Bitcoin. Corporations, people are going to follow what MicroStrategy is doing because it has absolutely boosted their stock price, and there's no other explanation than to say that it was their Bitcoin purchase. And then finally, funds and ETFs. So these are things like BlackRock and Fidelity, and all these hedge funds who are buying into Pantera Capital, like all across the board. Wall Street. This is basically Wall Street money. So if you look at this, it's almost perfectly balanced. So everyone who sold and all this loss ended up going directly to Wall Street. So my thing is ride the wave with the money. Even if it's going sideways or it's going down, you just follow what the big money is doing. They're buying. You should be buying too. if you do want to actually ride that wave. So, and then the cool part about Bitcoin and crypto is you can actually see where the money is flowing. You can see what wallets are getting it's very hard to kind of, disguise a wallet that's holding billions of dollars worth of Bitcoin, which is what, BlackRock's would be doing. And, but again, you can see that type of stuff and see where the money is actually flowing for sure. So that's just a note on, again, making sure that you're riding with the tide. So overall, I don't really have too much else to talk about. I think it's been about 15 minutes, so that's pretty good. We'll wrap it up. Again, this has been Chris Talks Crypto. Check out any crypto-based resources on christalkscrypto.com. Check out the Pulse on Crypto, Escape Velocity course. We're doing a lot of big things there for sure. Like definitely a good horizon on the future with the work that's being done there. So I'm excited for sure. So other than that, I will see you on the moon. Take care. Bye-bye.